Scott Polk. I'm an SEO. I currently work for Bruce Clay as a senior analyst, and I've been doing SEO, technical SEO, for quite a few years. We also have Eric Lander. And you can go ahead and talk about yourself.
As Scott said, I'm Eric Lander. I've been doing organic search since about 2000, 2001. Currently working for ADP Incorporated, the payroll company. I don't like paid search. That's me.
And then Carolyn Shelby.
I'm the diversity candidate, and that's why I'm here. Yay, I got laughs. I wasn't even sure I was going to get laughs. Let's see. I started an ISP in 1994. I've been building websites since 1995. Didn't realize I was doing SEO for a long time, but I have been. So I'm also the host of SEO 101 on Webmaster Radio. And I'm not always this hoarse, I swear. It's the dry air.
And then we have, last but not least, Dave.
I'm Dave. I'm the sexy one on the panel. As you can tell, I own a company called Search and Social, and if you're dense and can't figure out what we do things involved with search and social media. So I do all things search. I do organic SEO, paid search, and social media optimization, which means I whore social media for links and traffic.
And as you can tell, we're all kind of a bit of smartasses. Then we have, to my right, Todd Friesen, and he will be walking around because he is our command boy.
I've only been doing search for longer than any of them, so that's why I'm the microphone guy.
Exactly. We are waiting on internet access for the group right at the moment, so we thought we'd kind of just start it out with a little Q&A. And they're promising they're bringing us a hub. So anybody have any questions they would like answered or to know anything that we can help you out with until we get access?
I can't promise that. I'm pretty hungover.
Don't be shy.
And try and group them so I don't have to really walk an awful lot.
Todd had a rough night.
I'm way hungover.
We do promise one thing, you're going to have a lot of fun, and hopefully you can take away some good information.
Hopefully this will start a good conversation, but is it worth caring about anything but Google in the marketplace when it's 96 or higher percentage of your search traffic?
Yeah, I can answer that. One of our clients is J.R. Dunn. We're a luxury jewelry store. That's actually, I worked in-house with them before I started my company. This last holiday season, we were really worried because in this economy, as you can guess, little small expensive things and packages we didn't expect to do really well. We had over 100% growth, and most of it came through Yahoo and MSN organic search. So I think that's a good case study of why Yahoo and MSN is still viable. Also, MSN and Yahoo, relevancy-wise, have really kicked up their game in the last year. So, you know, if you're optimizing for one, I mean, you should be optimizing for them all. And then, you know, I'd rather take, you know, if I'm working a really competitive niche, I'll take 5% of that traffic if somebody else is only focusing on that 96%.
Well, and the reality is if 96% of your traffic's coming from Google, then you're missing. You're not ranking in, I mean, it should be more 80-ish percent. So you're not, I mean, the company I work for, we run Yahoo Paid Inclusion. We built the system and we manage probably about 80% of all paid inclusion. That's only Yahoo. And we've been in business for 10 years and we make a ton of money at it. So definitely worth going. The other thing to keep in mind is conversion-wise, Live is going to convert the best and Google's going to convert the worst. So it's less traffic, but you're going to get more money out of it on a conversion basis.
Yeah, but that also doesn't mean go out and de-optimize your site for Google just to try and capture that traffic.
Fair enough.
Anything else?
Kind of on the same line with Yahoo, are there any techniques that specific to Yahoo? With one of my sites, I don't get any Yahoo traffic, and I don't know if I did something that they don't like, but even on searching on my main web name, I don't even show up in the results. Scraper sites show up before, whereas in Google, get traffic without a problem.
I would suggest SSP.
Absolutely.
Are you sure you're in Yahoo?
Yeah, are you indexed? If you do. Okay. You might be penalized for something. Like if you don't even show for your brand, then you're probably possibly under a penalty. Follow up with me after so I can help you find out about that. It's called Site Submit Pro. What it is, it's a feed-based system that goes, it's a flat rate CPC feed that shows up in Yahoo's organic search results. Looks exactly like every other search result. A lot of people don't even know it exists, but you can pay for clicks in Yahoo Organic, and it's going to be 25 to 30% of what you're paying Google AdWords for the same phrases.
Yeah, SSP is actually a really good product, and basically it's Yahoo's hoarded themselves out a little bit on the organic side, and it's a great way to get in there.
It's called Site Submit Pro.
I've noticed that on the search engines, and I know you said you don't like the pay-per-click things. Just curious because our pay-per-click costs have gone up about 3,000% over the last 4 or 5 years. I've noticed that on Google it seems to put some minimum thresholds. Is there something that we're missing? And a second related question was, you talked about the commercial value of Yahoo search. It seems, because I'm a technical book publisher, and it seems the conversion rates for Yahoo searchers are lower than for Google. I'm not trying to promote Google.
I mean, your conversion rate's going to vary dependent on what your product is market to search engine. You know, again, going back to the luxury brands, we actually do better in Google. And I've also worked in the travel industry, and we did better in Live and in Yahoo than Google. So it's really market by market, dependent on what kind of user base is utilizing the search engine.
Right, so if I have technical products, that's my fundamental question is that...
If you're doing tech products, Google's always going to do better. I mean, you have a lot of tech people that are utilizing Google.
Yeah, Google's definitely much better for research-oriented queries and also very techy queries. You guys want to start?
Yeah, we got
Are you guys all on?
I'm connected.
Okay, I guess now we have internet access, so we can go ahead and start the organic site review panel.
I just
after
wanted to
she
ask
says
if
a
you guys
question.
can say your Twitter names.
Mine is just Scott Polk.
Mine's just Eric Lander.
Mine's Seashell, C-S-H-E-L.
And mine's Dave Snyder.
And mine is Oilman. Oilman, O-I-L-M-A-N.
This was before he decided to use his real name.
Yeah.
When he hid from everybody.
Did.
Okay, the first site I guess we can review would be the octhebeach.com.
Whose site is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, normally what we do here is give us a little bit of background, tell us what you're looking to learn, what you're missing.
Okay, to follow up the side comments from the people on the panel, I'm the oldest one. Oh,
What's Twitter?
yes, I'm Beachy, B-E-A-C-H-Y. 12 years ago, we bought a condominium in Ocean City, Maryland, at the beach, and I decided to do a little community website, and then I learned about affiliate marketing, and I'm in the travel vertical. So I'm mostly interested in getting people to this site looking for Ocean City hotels.
Ocean City Hotels. Have you had any current optimization or anything going on that's been outside yourself, or?
Just what I've done myself, self-taught totally.
Guys, you see anything to speak of?
Well, they're all using their fancy tools and trying to look all intent and smart up there. I can tell you right off the bat, if it's Ocean City, get it in the URL. I mean, when I say OC, what does everybody think? Orange County. Right, so you're, just by going with OC off the front end, you're competing in the whole wrong geography unintentionally.
I'm East Coast, and Ocean City is called OC on the East Coast.
Well, and Google is actually coming up with 2 different variants of that. If you actually look for synonym search, they're actually coming up with Ocean City, Maryland, and the OC in California. So it's probably a little bit of confusion as well. A little more, I mean, optimized for OC, but you're gonna need a little bit more clarification on that as well.
And ocean-city.com, you never put a hyphen in a name. That guy has had that site online since 1994.
Well, then he's already been granted pretty much permanent authority status within Google.
Right.
So,
And for the record, a hyphen is not a bad thing. 4 hyphens, 5 hyphens.
Yeah.
Don't do that, please.
There's another company called State Ventures that have Maryland.com, Pennsylvania.com. They also own the OceanCity.com.
Yeah.
I tried all variations of Ocean City and really didn't come up
Yeah,
with
I mean, domain authority in itself is actually a pretty important factor in rankings. In the age of that domain, I mean, being a trusted site, especially within Google, very important.
I launched it in June of 1999.
It's pretty decent then. Yeah. I mean, pretty much anything that predates Google's launch is gold, but the older the better, of course. So anything that's, 98 and below is pretty much already there, especially if it's at continuous registration.
Where does he rank for Ocean City?
Quick question on domain aging. Can you define that? You mean from the time it was purchased, or the time a website started to show up, or first time real content started?
All of that, actually. Continual registration, how long it's been in the index, so on and so forth. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. It's not just one single point.
So a couple of things that I saw with OC The Beach. First of all, you said you wanted to be found for Ocean City Hotels. And if you do a search for Ocean City Hotels, you're showing up in the number 3 spot. But it's actually one of your internal pages that's showing up, not your home page. Now, I mean, that could be by intention, by design, or not. But on your home page, one quick recommendation would be just change the page title so the first 3 words are, in fact, Ocean City Hotels. You're going after Ocean City, Maryland hotels, which obviously is going to be a targeted phrase, but you could do a little bit better with that. 2 other things that I saw was you were talking about hyphens in the URL and things like that. For whatever reason, I've always found that hyphens perform better than underscores. Now, if your site's been around since '99 and you've been using underscores continuously, it's probably not worth changing.
And I became aware of that a couple of years in, and I was afraid to change the URLs at that point.
Are you still adding new content to the site on a regular basis?
Yes.
Is it through like a CMS or something? Is it all just static pages?
I have a business directory because I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. It has about 900 dynamic pages. Just about everything else is static.
I mean, I don't know that I'd want to mix underscores and hyphens just because it's probably going to be a pain to organize, but again, that might help out. The last thing that I picked up on...
There's one internal link to the homepage.
Okay.
You might want to link back to the homepage if you want the homepage to rank.
Yeah, one of the other things too is we always visit sites and we think like, we don't take the time to think like a spider, right? So when a search engine spider comes into your site, they're seeing a big graphical header, they're seeing your navigation, which is all in graphics, which the spiders can't comprehend. And on the homepage, you've got some, drop-down form for, obviously reservation forms. The trouble is I'm just going to take a stab and guess that maybe like the first 8 to 10K worth of code on your site is basically no content for the engines to actually look at. Now, you can get creative. I mean, you can use some of the JavaScript code and link into that with an include file, something like that. But for the most part, especially on the homepage, you want to set that tone early, let the engines know what your page is about. And right now, again, I mean, the beginning could probably be cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah, the search engines are pretty much stupid, blind, deaf. So you really got to help them out a lot to really understand about what your site is about.
Yeah, I mean, I always break it down like there's 2 parts to search engine optimization, right? The first part you need to worry about is really what old school search was. It's an information retrieval system. You have bots going out, taking what information is on your page, putting it in a database. The second part that you need to worry about is rankings. So you need to make sure that the bots and when they go through and actually start classifying your information, they understand what your information means. So that goes back to page architecture, using H tags, where you place your content, information architecture, how you break your site apart, like what different classification, like how your navigation breaks down throughout your site, how you're letting, what pages you're actually letting the bots go onto and index. And then from there comes the rankings element, which are a lot of times the off-page issues that we've talked about with link building and whatnot.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed also your robots.txt file appears to redirect your homepage.
Try just anything after the slash.
Something you want there no matter, even if you don't have anything in it or not. It looks like you're handling all your redirects like that. When you produce a 404 page, you want to produce a 404 error code, which means you want them to actually get a page that says file not found, and it's actually going to pass a header code of 404. If you got people linking into your site to pages that are producing 404s, then redirect those individually so you can grab all that link equity. But definitely produce a 404 error page. It's something that the engines will be looking for one, to even grant you type of authority status. Just as like having a contact us page with a real phone number and an address, things of that nature, kind of like key little points that they can actually look for. They want to make sure you're a real business. So these are all things you don't actually want to skimp on, even though they're not going to actually directly cause you to rank for anything in particular. They help you overall. Authority status within the engines, they basically want to make sure that you're basically a real site. So if you've got a phone number, put your phone number up there. They want an address, they want to see a privacy policy, contact us page, have a robots.txt file, produce 404 errors. All of these things are basically for kind of quality sites that are out there.
Do you need that even for like blogs?
Depends on what you are. I mean, I would put it on there no matter what. If you got it, put it up there. What's going to hurt? I would not redirect a 404 page to your homepage at all.
Well, and particularly not the robots.txt.
Correct.
Yeah. The other thing too is, even though your site is basically behaving like it's a 404, it's not providing a 404 response code to the engines or to any users. The only redirect I think that I've seen so far is a 302, so it's a temporary redirect. So any old pages, anything that's not linked up appropriately is basically just going to be lost.
Are you doing any, what are you doing for link building? Are you paying for any site-wide listings or anything?
No.
Because I'm finding, this is something to always look at too. Remember, you always have competitors, and your competitors want to do some nasty things to you sometimes. Like when I'm doing a little link audit on your site, I'm finding a lot of site-wide links on what looks like they're being paid links on the sidebar of a lot of pages. So you might want to go through your link portfolio, go into Yahoo Site Explorer and look at the links and see what links are actually coming through for you. And then if there are links that you don't want to have come into your site, remember, links on the sidebar have been largely devalued, links in the footer, things like that. You want links in text. And then site-wide links also largely devalued. You want to try to get those out, make your link portfolio as natural as possible, make it look really healthy. And then it looks like you have done maybe some link building that is good, like you've gone to Ocean City, other Ocean City sites, and gone in your network. One strategy I'll give you, because I worked in the travel game, is travel websites are always looking for content. If you can produce some content and go to some travel blogs in the Ocean City market and offer them free content with links back to your site with anchor-rich text, they'll take your content 100%.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next site that we've got, which is youcanbehealthy.com.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you very
no
much.
problem.
Just, it made the whole trip worthwhile. Just a few notes I've jotted down here. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I would say if you're number 3 for your money term right now, I'll bet you if you put that in your title tag properly, you'll see a bump right off the bat.
Yeah. Title tag is actually probably the most important thing you can actually post right now. It's really easy.
And I saw the H1 tag is like this entire first paragraph here, the whole damn thing. So it could be a little bit more focused.
Yeah, keep your H1 tags down to like 4 or 5 words. That is your main keyword phrase you're trying to rank for. And you can use CSS to style it any way you want, so you can keep the same visual, layout and look that you have. The spider's going to look at your HTML markup, so they're going to look for those markers within your code to actually, help identify what you're about.
You yell it out, you're really far away.
I just have a question in regard to what advice you gave this gentleman. Since he can't buy the .com that he wants, is there any advantage to him buying the .net or .biz or .us that he wants and linking it, cross-linking it, or you were offering a landing page that references that?
Buying them, sure, absolutely. Buy as many of your brand names as you can in domains, but you don't necessarily need to create separate sites for them.
At this point, though, right now, he doesn't have the perfect .com that he wants, but his site is almost 10 years old. I wouldn't change a thing domain-wise. I wouldn't try to move it to another name. I would leave all that alone. You're so close to being there. A couple of the notes you took. You're going to love that. And, you know, .net, cool, .org, not too bad. .us, .biz, .info, that stuff's all been beaten to death. And I mean, you hardly, I mean, when's the last time you saw a .us in the top 10 of anything? Or
Yeah, watch, one thing I watch out for a lot is if you see GoDaddy selling a domain name for cheap, like .info last year, right? They went for like 99 cents a piece. Don't touch that. Why? Spammers are buying those up by the boatload, and they're going to start running dirty tricks on them, and it's going to automatically devalue the whole extension. So that's why now you don't see anything .info.
Yeah, I mean, Google is a software product, so they are going to create as many automated filters as they can. So what spammers are doing will eventually get into those filters, and you will end up getting flagged. That doesn't mean you'll be penalized, but you will get flagged and have a second look taken at your site effectively.
Well, while you guys are loading up the next site, we got another hand over here. The question is, what if you have a hyphen, and you're talking just a single hyphen? One is fine. One's
okay.
fine.
More than one spammy.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. It's just
Not necessarily, but that's.
But you also have to look at this from a perspective too.
Impression.
You've got a branding issue with domain names. So what is actually brandable? Do you want to put, you know, Ocean City dash this on your literature? And then you also have to look at the fact that, you know, there's a usability component to it as well. Spam is often associated with many dashes. It doesn't mean that the engines in itself will dislike them, but there are other components other than the engines that you have to take into consideration.
There's an offline marketing consideration too, though. If you're trying to brand your site and you're going to do, let's say, radio advertising, it's very difficult to say ocean-city.com. It's much easier to say oceancity.com.
Sure. A single dash, go for it all day long.
Yeah, I'd go for it. I mean, if the
Single's
option
fine.
was,
2, you're probably still okay for the engines at least. The more, the worse.
just not two right next to each other, because that just definitely looks like ocean-city.
Take it from a
Skip
guy
that
that used to have 4, 5, and 6 hyphen domains. I can almost tell you the day that Google started filtering that. Because it cost me a fortune.
Okay, next
What's
site
next?
is you can be healthy, and I believe that's yours, right?
Tell us a little bit about what you're looking for out of this.
It's a health site. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a health site. I had some health challenges. I have diabetes and just survived cancer. So I just decided to create a site sort of revolves around, health-related stuff. So that was the core reason. That's where my passion was at. And then, if I could make a penny doing it, hey. Oh, Patrick Pete. Like St. Patrick and Pete Rose. P-E-T-E. Yeah, I started in August, and I'm getting, a decent amount of traffic. Right around 2,000 unique visitors, and right around 3,000 page views. So that tells, I've observed some things. If the number of page views I have is consistent with close to the number of users that are coming, then I need to work on some content things because people are coming and then they're leaving. So.
All right. So one thing this is a WordPress blog, right?
Yeah.
This is WordPress. One thing, if you're running your WordPress blog for affiliate monetization and you want to get some search equity in there, the first thing you should do in creating titles for your site is probably do like a quick keyword research query, like on Word Tracker or Keyword Discovery, and really look at how people are searching for those terms and make sure that you're creating titles that are really you have the possibility for ranking for. Because each one of those individual pages, you don't necessarily want all your search equity coming in through your homepage. Like, it'd be great if you could pull a lot of search equity through each of your posts. Right. And then when you look at the posts you have now, they're really generic terms that, like, diet and nutrition, this first post starts off with. Right. Like, you're probably never going to rank for, diet and nutrition. So you really want to kind of look at how you're phrasing those titles to see if you can really capture some of the search equity on maybe longer tail phrases.
Initially, I I purchased Word Tracker, so I get it monthly, and I was initially using that, and the bulk of my, traffic that consistently comes from keywords that I use that have high KEIs on them. And what I initially did was, if I saw a search term that had a high KEI and there were not too many people writing it and those sites writing on it, then I would write a blog post toward that, sort of like with the mindset that I want to service users. If they're asking about, for example, 5 components of fitness, I wrote a blog post on that. So that ranks as high as my index, my homepage.
Right. Another thing to look at too, tool to use would be like Google Trends or any trend information you can get. Like for instance, since you have a health site, remember when Patrick Swayze got diagnosed with cancer like a year ago? Like it was huge. Like it was all over the place. If you can be one of the first ones to market with that, even if you are on a later page, you might be able to pull a lot of equity from that, from the engines as well.
Right. Yep, my main concern was that I didn't want to get in the habit of just trying to throw something up for a keyword that wasn't servicing. In other words, what I do is, if what I write is not something I would read, then I don't do it. So, I felt like the posts that I was writing were pretty good, but then you run out of stuff because people are asking for weird stuff like mysterious diseases in Iraq. That's got a real high KEI.
Is your WordPress blog customized?
Huh?
Is your WordPress theme customized?
With an SEO plugin, you mean?
I'm sorry?
What you talking about with a WordPress?
Yeah, your actual
SEO?
theme for your WordPress, for the blog, has been customized at all?
Oh, it's a free theme, but I'm going to the next level. So I purchased Thesis. I don't know if anybody heard of that theme.
Thesis is good.
But I purchased that because I'm finding limitations. I feel like I got so many ads on there, and it looks like one of these Vegas signs sometimes. So
yeah, you're also missing some kind of important factors. I mean, you're missing a description tag in there as well, and you've got the SEO pack, which apparently isn't providing, or it's turned. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what plugin are you using? Are you using all-in-one SEO?
It's all in one.
SEO
Are you using
all-in-one.
All-in-one?
14615.
One thing I noticed when I look in Site Explorer is that, are you familiar with how to change the post slug? The post slug is what appears, it'll be like yourdomain.com / and then the title of the post name, right? And every word is separated by a hyphen. You can change what appears in the URL by changing the post slug, and you can get rid of a lot of extraneous words, like.
So is that the same as the permanent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the same.
So you'd be getting rid of, like, there's one, it's organic garden farmers market to locally grown. Wait, it's just really long. So, but pick out the important words there and drop the non-important words. It'll make it shorter, and it'll add more weight to the words that are important.
Yeah, it also helps to increase the usability factor again. Longer many hyphens in your domain, in your URL structures, actually studies have shown have decreased click-through rates from the engines, even if you are ranking. Yeah, whoever you have and a Thesis is definitely a good template. I think you'll actually see some movement just by moving over to that.
Another tip I can give you is start linking out to people that are also in your health market. Might seem counterintuitive, but start letting people know that you're out there. Get links back to your site within your neighborhood. Information architecture doesn't just start on site; it starts above that with link neighborhoods. So you really want to have people in your neighborhood linking to you. Right now, you just have a lot of social media. It looks like linking to you, like Twitter pages and other things. You need to get some other health blogs linking to you. Maybe contact some people, make some connections, see if they will. And remember, you always want in-text rich links, not sidebar blog rolls. That stuff's really not useful anymore.
One part, go ahead.
One other thing real quick. Link to yourself. If you write a blog post and you have an opportunity to reference another blog post that you wrote that's relevant and has good anchor text, make sure you're linking back to yourself and referencing other things that you've written, because you want people to stay on your site, you want them to keep looking at other pages, and you want to let the engines know that you think that page is important, and this is what you think it's important for.
Yeah, and one thing that people, and at least in my opinion, always kind of misunderstand is the fact that if you link out to people, you're giving up so much. If you want to be considered an expert or an authority site in your market, you're expected to link to other authorities out there. How can you be considered an authority yourself if you do not recognize other sites out there that are authorities? Don't go crazy with external links, but link to authority sites.
And people notice when you link to them. And I check my traffic every day, and if I get a traffic from some other site, I go back and I look at that site and I see how they link to me. And sometimes, you know, it's a business that I might want to work with, or they do have really good stuff that I can link to from one of my sites. So it serves multiple purposes, and it's a good practice to get into. But looking at your template, I think you're going to be happy with Thesis, and I think if you work Thesis right, it can clean up your site and give it a more professional, medical look to it. And I think you're going to want that because people tend to, they're not going to link to a site and reference it as an expert if it looks like, you know, a $5 whore in Thailand that's just trying to be out there and make money. I used to work for a medical site that was like that, and we had arguments about that all the time because they just put way too many ads on it. But
Now, I just heard about Thesis when I got here to Vegas on Friday, and everything I've heard from other people now, it's a pretty cool theme.
Yeah, it's actually really nice.
A question I noticed on Patrick's site on mine, that first tool you used, down at the bottom, it had something mentioned, path maps not enabled.
That's just part of the tool set that Bruce Clay has. It's just part of the read it is.
Okay, so that's not
just another
SE.
product. Yeah, it's not anything that's necessarily. You know,
I saw it, and if I wasn't enabled, maybe I should be, but that doesn't matter.
No, I mean, Bruce has got some pretty good tools out there, and I mean, if anybody wants access to them, just drop a card with tools on the back of it. I'll make sure you guys get access to them.
Now, as far as linking out to other sites, what's your opinion on opening in a new page or just?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's for usability. It's not going to hurt. Just use target _ blank, so it's not.
I got you.
Using JavaScript.
I've heard arguments both ways, but you guys seem like you're really on the stick.
No.
My question is to follow up on what Carolyn commented about linking back to the site. When you look at the site that linked to you, then you follow it and you then link back. Is that considered like reciprocal linking?
It possibly could be, but it really just, from my perspective, and I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but if the site's going to be valuable to your user, then yeah, link to them. You don't necessarily have to link to the same page or in the same manner that they're linking back.
oh yeah,
But,
I don't.
You know, if it's going to be valuable for your user base, then it's something to consider. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was an automatic thing, it would definitely be bad. But it's strictly a. I don't always link to them, but sometimes I found services that I've wanted to use because, you know, they linked to me. I didn't even know they were in town. It looked like a cool thing. I called them up, said, "Oh, hey, I want to buy your product." And they were, you know, they were like, "How did you find me?" I said, "Oh, you linked to my site. I tracked it back," and then they were happy. And now they're more likely to link to me again.
I mean,
when it comes to linking, if it's all your links that are reciprocal links, then that's bad. I mean, Google's dead good at spotting that now. But Google has screwed the whole internet. They've made everybody scared to link to anything. Just link. If it makes sense, just link it. Like,
exactly.
It's what the internet is about. It's what it's supposed to be for. Don't worry about a few little reciprocal links here and there when you have other links.
Yeah, I mean, links should be about traffic and acquiring traffic, and don't look at it from the first perspective trying to game the engines. I mean, if the link itself is going to bring you traffic, then do it no matter what. Don't worry about it.
It's also like blogging and all this is all about creating relationships as well that are ongoing. So let's say I link to Todd's blog, oilman.ca, and he links back to me at some point. Well, or let's say he linked to me and I link back to him. I've created a relationship with him that's ongoing. Now, if he writes something else about me, the people that are reading his blog actively are now going to start linking to my blog, and then I'm going to get more traffic to my blog based on that. So it's all about creating ongoing relationships as well.
Well, and the thing about the reciprocal linking being bad and being afraid of it, they're guidelines. They're not the Google 10 Commandments. You know, if everyone adhered to them like it was written by the hand of God, and I don't know, the internet it would suck.
So just a real quick question about your WordPress titles. So you said take out all the lame words, the does, the ands, and all that kind of stuff, and take out the hyphens. Is that worth doing for every single post, is to actually edit that? And what is the real value of doing that?
Are you talking about the permalinks or the titles?
The permalinks.
Don't take the hyphens out.
Yeah, and
just get rid of the extraneous words.
Yeah, and just know that if you change any of those, then you have to 301 redirect those individually back to the new URL.
Yeah.
But going
Otherwise, you're going to
forward,
be in trouble.
But going forward, it's easy to do as you're posting.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so you're saying just take out the lame words, the ands, the does, the
Yeah,
is.
write something intelligent. You know, I mean, get the keywords in there. but-
Every single title I have is intelligent.
Well, it's intelligent to a search engine, or is it intelligent to you? Yeah.
Exactly.
well, it's a slug for a reason. I mean, slugs in journalism and press releases are there to give you a quick and concise understanding of what the topic of the press release is, or the article. So think of it that way. You're just trying to make as short as possible of a clear explanation of what the article's about, because you don't want your permalink to be this long.
The question is, can you get penalized for linking to your own site in the same vertical? Two different websites, you own both, same vertical, linking them together.
Is one of your sites spamming?
It,
Probably just discount it.
yeah, I wouldn't, one link, small. I mean, there's so much more to it. That question can't just be answered with a yes or no.
Yeah,
Is it just one site? Are they on the same server? Are they on the same IP? Have you done it a ton? Are you if it's just one little cross link?
Yeah, I mean, it also goes into who's linking to that other site. Like, if you started off and you started doing all kinds of spammy link tactics on one site, started linking to your other site, or even if you're hosted on an IP where you're doing a bunch of spam and stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of things you need to look at. But if they're both good content sites, there's no reason not to. I mean, you see a lot of big brands doing it all the time. So I mean, why not you?
Big brands get
Don't
rid of
link
stuff
for the
everybody
SEO
else
part. Just link because it's good for your users.
Yeah.
The rest of it will come.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
if
I know
there's
there's a lot of hands rolling, and we're kind of going into this hybrid between site review and Q&A. So I'm going to try and get to everybody sort of in between. We'll take one more question now while they're loading up the next
We don't have a
site.
next one yet.
You don't have a next one?
We need a next site.
Yeah, we need a next site. It's a race.
Okay,
First one
who's
up
got
now.
$10?
Well, she's the closest, and you already know how lazy I am. So while I walk this up here,
I had a couple quick questions and then one kind of longer one. Does the length of time you registered the domain, in other words, if you register for 10 years, make any difference registering it for 1 year?
I've heard people say that it does make a difference. I haven't experienced that personally, but the domain that I pay attention to the most I've had since '95.
If it's a factor, it's such a small factor, it's not going to do any difference anyway. It might be a factor that's in there, but it's I could take a domain I've registered for a year. If you've done a 10 and do quality other optimization tactics to it and beat you, so it's not a huge difference.
Well, look at it like this: if it's a possibility that it might make a difference, and you and your competitors are both doing or all doing absolutely everything you possibly can, and that gives you that little bitty bit extra push, go for it. If you got the $100 to do it, do it.
If you're serious about your business, then there's no point in not registering it that long to begin with.
Yeah, true. And the other question I had is as far as link popularity, okay, so we're talking about affiliate programs, and so you have a lot of affiliates linking to you, but usually they go through a redirection.
Mm-hmm.
What's the implications and involvement?
They don't count.
It's because of the redirection, they don't count. And what about the direct? Like CJ.
Doesn't count.
Now, what about direct links? So there's some out there that
Are they direct links with tracking codes attached to them?
Yeah.
They're going to cause you more problems than they're worth, probably.
Really? So
More than
what do you mean
likely,
by-
if affiliate is linking to you, they've already been identified as an affiliate, for one. So Google or the other engines are more than likely aware that they're an affiliate, so they know that they're linking to you for that reason. So it's not going to be what we call a testimonial type grade link.
Does it penalize you any?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
but if you want to have some fun when you're linking it, like when they always start laughing. What you can do, so you have whatever.com/ID equals whatever, or just / some affiliate number. Just as that request comes in, and if you want to do it just for the bots, you can do that too. 301, strip the ID off, 301 it, but you can still track for your affiliate that way, and then you have a nice clean link that counts to your homepage. But that's just a theoretical thing. Don't run out and do that and blame me.
Yeah, before you try doing any type of IP delivery, please make sure you know what you're doing first, because that can backfire on you. South Beach Annie.
Hi. Yes, South Beach Annie. I'm South Beach Annie everywhere.
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, you name it. I'm a business development person, and I really have not put too much time into this website. I know a lot has to be done, a lot of SEO. I have not really monetized it. Most of my business comes from networking, so it's basically just something that's there. And whatever help you can give me, I appreciate it.
Now, we can go back to the same thing we were talking about with you and the OC thing. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear South Beach?
Diet.
Diet, right. And South Beach, dieting, books, anything to do with dieting in South Beach is going to be absolutely insane. So you're probably going to have a hell of a time getting local South Beach related traffic right out of the gate. So that puts you a little bit behind the 8 ball.
I mean, it's not as bad as the PPC, which is porn, pills, and casinos, but it's up there as far as a competitive market. Sorry, I was just prompting you for that.
Why do you look at me?
Well,
You don't know why?
the first thing that I noticed is that your site loads for the www and the non-www, so you're going to have a canonical problem. You need to do a 301 redirect and pick one of those. So do you want to be www.southbeachannie or do you want to not? And just kind of make a decision on that.
But make decision based on what's indexed in the engines.
Well, she isn't Google Suggest.
Let me check.
That's true.
We're seeing this a lot with every site, so I'll say it now. There's ways that you can manipulate your CSS to drop your navigation lower in your page code, raise your content up towards the top of the page code. So like with this site, it's like you have a ton of links up towards the top. You should really think about absolute positioning your content towards the top, styling the content towards the top with a great H1 tag, whatever your money term is. I don't know if it's starting your own business or I'm not sure where you're focusing. Looks like business building is what you're doing. A good H1 tag with what you're doing, good content, and then drop the navigation. It's going to still appear the same way to the user, but for when the bots actually come through an index, that content's going to be towards the top for relevancy.
It also
it's called
suggests
CSS positioning, if you want.
Yeah,
to know what
yeah.
to look for.
We call it content stacking because there's many ways you can do it without CSS as well. I would also suggest that you probably need some more content on your site. A little bit. Writing is not a bad thing. It's a good thing within the search engines. They love text and links.
And a good way to get some content created, if you live in anywhere that is near a college town, drop a Craigslist ad in your local Craigslist saying, looking for an intern writer. You can pay those kids like 2 cents a word, and they'll write anything for you. So that's a good way to get some content.
Usually below minimum wage, even if it is illegal.
Yeah.
Or you can even maybe sign up to give them college credit.
Well, and if you're active in the business community, like, are you a member of the chamber? Okay, go find other business people that are interesting or have an interesting problem that you can do sort of a little case study on and interview them. Everybody likes to see their name in the newspaper. That's why newspapers print human interest stories, because they're going to go buy 50 copies of that paper and send it to their parents and their grandparents and their aunt in Poughkeepsie. So I mean, there's a lot of content that you can pick up just from the local business community. Anything that you think other people might be interested in, they probably will be. Talk to them, use them as a resource. They're going to be flattered you asked, and you're getting content out of it. And they're going to link to it, and they're going to tell their friends to link to it. I mean, it's link bait, it's goodwill, it's just generally a good thing.
To follow up on one of the points that Dave made earlier, and we're seeing a lot with like WordPress and a lot of the popular themes out there, but for the most part, links that are going to be in your sidebar navigation are basically being discredited, on their own, just because it's sort of a design convention, and the engines understand that. On your site right now, I mean, we've already talked about, using CSS to render the page visually the same way, but every single link that you have in that sidebar is actually also an H3 tag.
I convert those.
I had that happen
Yeah.
at a big company. Okay, this is funny. I know this is going to take up time, but everybody has to hear this. Okay, I argued with them about not doing their top nav like this. It had, I swear to God, a link to absolutely every single page in the entire site. They had a catalog. They made stainless steel sinks. You know how many models of stainless steel sinks there are? Let me tell you, there are a lot. They give this thing to me. I print out the source code for the page. It was 60 pages long, and the first 58 pages were the header. And the header's on every single page in the site. So when the bots come through, it looks like we have 30,000 pages of duplicate content, basically. And every single item in the top nav was an H2.
Yeah, when we're talking about H tags, there's always a disconnect between designers and people that actually look at code as information on what H tags are. You know, they're your H1, H2, H3, or whatever. A lot of designers look at them purely for styling purposes, and that's not what they're used for. An H tag is actually supposed to be used like an outline. When you were in school, you did an outline. Like, you know, your Roman numeral 1 was your most important information. That's your H1 tag. Your Roman numeral 2, and then so on and so forth. And you're supposed to really show the engines when they come through, like what is your most important and subsequent information from there. It's not for styling. And so this is probably something where we came through with somebody that did something for styling. So in the CSS, you'll see an H3 as whatever it is.
Yeah.
The question is, do the bots look at the CSS to try and figure out what you're doing with your H tags and other things?
I don't know for a fact that the bots do, but I know that if there's a suspicious site and they hand review it, they'll look at it if they think you're doing something naughty.
Yeah. I've actually had experience in the fact I've seen Googlebot actually parsing and downloading CSS and JavaScript files. Yes.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
You would think they wouldn't. I mean, look, if you can position something 999 million pixels off your page and get ranked for it, yeah, they're very interested in your CSS file. Just don't do anything shady.
That's another one I can tell you
that are shady, effectively.
Yeah, and again, it's okay. Like, it's not shady to make your site look good for users, right? Again, the whole point of all of this is to get people to your site and buy things, right? So by making an H tag smaller, you know, you're not doing anything shady. But when you take that H tag and you make it like, you know, 1 pixel, so you're hiding content somewhere, that's where, you know, just your common sense when you're doing these things, and you should be okay.
My personal rule of thumb on heading tags is have a single H1 on your page and never use any heading tags at all for design elements. Every heading tag on every single page that I work on or every single site needs to be unique from every other single one. So if I'm going to have an H2, there will not be a duplicate H2 anywhere across every site, even if that's millions of pages. I wouldn't use it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't use another H1. I hate that.
If it makes sense.
Write the page like an outline.
I'm sorry?
Write the page like an outline.
Yeah,
you can have.
exactly. Think about your thesis, the papers that you wrote in college. It needs to go like that. Your content needs to flow. The heading tags were originally designed, were originally laid out so that they organize your content into sub-content. So anything that's an H2 needs to follow what the H1 is about, and so on and so forth.
Because all these design elements, they visually help humans understand what's important on the page and what's not important on the page, and draw our eye to things that they want us to look at, right? The bots cannot see pictures. They see text. They cannot understand what we see visually, and as long as you become one with that concept, you can make it as pretty as you want, you can make it look however you want. You have to also look at it from the bot's point of view, and all it understands is words. It can understand weight on the words, which is why you have your H1 and your H2 and your H3, but it cannot see the pictures, it cannot see the color. You can't make something red for emphasis because it will not understand. You know, it's structured, HTML is structured like it is for a reason, and it's not to make the page pretty, it's to show importance.
I think we have time for one more site.
Oh, good Lord, I have to choose. You pick one.
You should do somebody back there. Do the guy in the hat.
You know what?
He's got a hat on.
Scott, you did it.
Which
Anybody else can come fight me afterwards.
Uh-oh, sorry.
See, because I'm the one down here. They're going to beat me if I...
I think I'll be willing to do all site clinics for drinks after this.
Exactly. That's one thing I was also going to let you guys know. We're going to try to go to the lunchroom, and if anybody wants to keep the conversation going, we're going to head over there. And like I said, we like to drink. So.
And if you'd like to bring us drinks, that will make us happy. I will also SEO for cookies.
My name's Kerry Silverman. I own several websites. Some are in competitive industries like the payday loan industry, which is pretty competitive. But the one I like for you guys to look at is GradeGenie.com. It's in the academic space, targets college students. It's a newer site. We launched it. It's about 18 months ago when we put it on the.
What was it?
It's Grade, Grade, Genie, GENIE.com.
One of the first things that jumps out is, again, the canonical URL issue. So, I mean, as Todd said earlier, just find out which one's performing better right now in the engines, go with that. Make sure that you redirect the other one to it. What, I'm assuming that you're using some kind of CMS, right?
Yes.
The index page being index.do, I'm just kind of curious as to how that's working.
It's a Java backend, that's for sure.
You know, and right off the front end, you can see that your tag on them is just Grade Genie. So if that's all you're trying to rank for, then that's great. But I expect there's more money in other keywords for you.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be good for branding. The other thing too is all the internal pages appear to have the same page title as well.
There's no H1 tag.
What CMS is this?
I'm not sure.
Intrepid.
Which one?
It sounds like it's custom.
A couple of little things. I mean, I talked about it a little bit before, but when I look at the source, I kind of want to look at it as a spider, and I want to see relevant content first. You start off with, before any content, really, you've got your Google Analytics code. I mean, throw that at the absolute bottom of the page. It's just little things like that. I mean, I don't know that it would make a huge difference, but you've also got a lot of JavaScript and things like that loading up before any real content.
One thing, like in general, when you're looking at your website, if you have CSS or JavaScript inside your actual web document, take that out and host it externally. Get rid of some of that code bloat that's going on. That's also going to help you float some of that necessary information towards ranking towards the top.
Did you program the CMS, or is this an out-of-box solution?
It was programmed because the generator was hardworking programmers, and it says, hello, Intrepid Page Source Viewer.
Yeah, I try to remove some of that.
It's cutesy, but
it's not going to help you whatsoever.
Not necessary. Well, like your description, it says a site for college students to post and share class notes. You'd probably be better off changing that to college students post and share class notes. Or, you want the words that are the most important at the front, as far to the front as humanly possible. I'm not saying you want to string together a bunch of words and not have them actually make sense if someone reads them, but the more important words definitely belong at the front.
Any reason for the no cache tag or the expires -1?
Somebody wrote it was important.
Yeah, I mean, if the only meta tags you need in there are basically your HTTP equivalent tag, your title tag, meta description, meta keywords, and the rest of it, get rid of it. It is not needed. It doesn't help you at all. And to be honest, some of this could be looked at as spammy, even though it's not really directly related to what your content is. Name generator, hardworking programmers.
I will say, they commented this beautifully. I wish I could bludgeon.
I always go with the UDF, but I've never seen any data that indicates that either is going to work, one or the better. Correct, yes. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that whatever you use is the most universal you can for your audience. Absolutely. That's personally what I use, is the UTF-8, yeah.
And the page encoding, for those that didn't hear all that, we're talking about the page encoding, and page encoding is absolutely huge. Absolutely. If we bring a page in, like when we build feeds for the Yahoo Paid Inclusion, we can go out, crawl a website, and bring it in, and then we create the feed automatically and so forth. If your encoding is wrong or broken or not there, it will affect you in Yahoo. Absolutely. Bots come in and crawl, and when they pull that encoding information down to figure out what they should expect in the rest of the page. If you don't tell them what to expect, they will try and figure it out on their own, and they'll go UTF-8 most likely, because that's the vast majority. But there's sites, if you go through and look at the cache of a lot of sites and you see it looks weird because the apostrophes are question marks and stuff like that, it's because the encoding's wrong, and it's a flag that will ding you. It's not just they can't read it, they actually ding you for not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, your coding is probably one of the things that people actually really underestimate as far as a factor. And it's not that it has a huge direct factor in itself, but you have to kind of look at this, especially if you're in a highly competitive market. Those top 10 results will probably have a 0.001% variance in difference on who's actually ranking and why, in what position. So every little thing that you can do to be better than the other sites, or you're better than your competitive set, is going to help you. I remember when there was one SEO out there that wrote a blog post a few years ago. She said, "Don't sweat the little things." And I'm 100% against that. I think you should sweat every little thing you can, especially if this is your business and your livelihood. I mean, we are in a recession, so why not try to outperform on every single factor you can against your competition? I mean, the engines are there to provide you with traffic. Cater to them. I mean, why not?
I got one more question for this guy on his site here. I was up there with Dave, and we were kind of poking around the site a little bit and trying to find the main content section. And I saw browse schools. Like, I'm just going to have all the school information, right? There's no content for any of those schools. So where did I just not find it? Where is the actual content? Yeah, you need to get some content up there about all those schools. And seriously, if I come back and you just scrape school content, I'm going to hunt you down. I'm okay with that one.
And on your homepage here, you could have, like, where it says earn the grade you deserve, and then I think you could change the words around a little bit better to, again, put the important words at the front. You don't need to lead with your brand name because they know what your brand name is. They're on your site, they can see it. But all it says is to get started, bullet, bullet, bullet. Why do you want to share your class notes? What is the benefit? Is it going to make you feel good? Is it going to get you dates? Are you going to get muscles? There's a lot of different things you can say about that. You have to give the bot something to clamp onto. There's got to be some content and some context for them to be able to decide how they're going to decide your site is relevant.
I mean, if you can actually get students to write notes for your site, that's content. It's free.
I mean, the other nice thing you got going, it's a good, clean-looking site. If you can get some content up there, it's going to have some trust just out of, because it's not I've done a lot of work in the education space, and a lot of the affiliate education sites are horrible, and why would you ever use it? People will use this, so if you get some content on there, I think you'll find a lot more success with it.
Yeah, that's not a situation I haven't seen before. I mean, I've done some consulting recently for a large company that was bringing out a new site. They sent it to me, and I looked at the site, and I was like, okay, well, all this data is being brought in dynamically, and there was absolutely no content. They're like, well, just get it to rank. I'm like, what do you want me to get to rank, man? Like, it's not even going to index anything. Like, you have to feed the beast. You got to feed the beast something, and the beast eats content in this case. So you got to give it to them. Also, when you start creating this content, think about how people are going to search your site for that content, and create a logical information architecture for your site. So if you're going to do by schools, and that's all what you're going to do is break it down by the schools and list schools out, maybe list them by geographical area, northeast, south, however you think people are going to search for it, and however you think you're going to get search equity from it as well. If you're running like a sports goods website, you're not going to want to just put basketballs, footballs, baseball bats, whatever. You're going to want to do I'm not being vulgar, you're going to put balls on the top, and then you're going to want to put like, yeah, I said. And then you want to put like shoes, you want to break it down, and then from there, break your information architecture down, how people would actually search, and also how people are going to categorize your information on the web.
On a side note that's not, strictly SEO related, if you have some money in your budget, I would have launch parties on college campuses. I would find a way to sponsor parties at fraternities and sororities. I would buy stuff to give people to wear at football games. Do something, if you have the money to do just one big thing on a big campus, get the school paper to write a story about it, they'll link to it, that's a university newspaper that's linking to you. I mean, you have a lot of opportunity to buy their affection and build your brand.
Speaking of, events and stuff like that, every college and university I went to more than one, that's a whole long story, but every school newspaper of the schools I went to had what's called 3 lines free. It was on the back page, and it was like a little classified ads, hey, hot chick in the red shirt in Chem 201, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. Those are free. There's no call up every school newspaper if they have that, put your site in the back of that. It's actually great. There's a bunch of hands and stuff, but before we do that, I was just talking to Scott here, and none of us know when this panel actually is supposed to end.
Now?
So,
I think
now
it's oh, now?
Yeah. But
I guess we can field a couple more questions. Are you cutting us
Okay.
off, or
Right now?
we're gonna go? Okay, he's not cutting us off, so let's just go for it.
.cc TLDs. What do the engines think of them?
What, country level?
No, like
Or
just
the-
.cc.
Just the .cc, okay.
Just a .cc.
Yeah, well, I mean, the common sense answer to that is go look at the top 100 for every term you would love to rank for and count up how many non-standard TLDs are in there, whether it's CCUS, Info, Biz, WS, LY, whatever, and that'll give you a pretty good handle on it. I haven't seen a .cc in the top. I haven't seen a .cc website in probably 3 years. I just haven't even been to one.
I haven't either. I wouldn't. It may be one of those that has actually been already tagged, so people just stop using them. But
.cc was one of the first country level ones that was released in the wild, and so it got horribly abused.
yeah, that one in .2 with those kick me's and
Oh, dude, the .2 was awesome.
yeah, it was.
Okay, one more question. Holler it out. The question is, because you probably didn't hear over here, can you have too much content on a page? Can your page be too long? Is there a limit on what the search engines will crawl?
My answer to that is no, as long as the page will continuously load. But that I would honestly look at your competition set. What are you trying to rank for? If your competition set is all at 400 words per page, then that's your ideal sweet spot. If they're all doing 3,000 words, again.
There's also a certain reality that larger websites do better. We used to do SEO for CompUSA before they went out of business. It wasn't because of the SEO. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Dude, and we even reviewed your site. Come on. They had a content management system or product catalog system that had basically, it was called guided navigation. So it was one of those deals where you go, I want to get a laptop, and then by brand, then by size, then by speed, then by, and you can get to the same laptop a whole bunch of different ways. And every single one of those pages is different because the title tag's in a different order, the breadcrumbs in a different order, all that sort of stuff, right? So we had Google thinking that they had 4.5 million pages. They sold 250,000 products online, so 250,000 plus change should be what their site was. Google originally thought they had 13,000, so we fixed that, got them indexed, got them crawled up to 4 million pages, and it was like we had turned on a faucet of traffic. And then Google started to figure it out, nipped us back down to about 1.5 million pages, and there was a noticeable decline because don't underestimate the value of your internal linking. We talk about navigation being standard and stuff like that. Well, in the CompUSA case, we put they had a footer link with privacy policy and return and guarantee and all that kind of stuff. And we inserted just above it, popular categories, computers, PC upgrades. We put about 5 things in there, and within 2 weeks, we were 1 or 2 for all of those things. Just because there was just so many of them, and they're internal. Site-wide's internally, it's your site. You can do whatever you want.
It's also about good architecture. I was at Edmunds for 4 years, and we had articles. We were ranking at one time for Ford Mustang, above Ford, and there's a page that had 3,500 words on it. It was aged, so the power of content, just as Todd said, is extremely important. And also, along with that, you really want good site architecture, and you want to make sure that you're linking in between pages that are actually relevant to each other. Don't link from cement to flour.
There was just last week, if you go to spin.com, SPHINN.com, and there's an article on there about page segmentation. It was a really, really great article on how to do it, why you should do it, all the reasons behind it. Yeah, SPHINN.
Yeah, that's kind of the search engine optimization or search engine marketing kind of social media site out there for.
Yeah, it's the
it's like a Dig.
the SEO, SEM version of Dig, more or less.